Hey, welcome back to the Conviction Fiction Podcast. I'm your host, Antoine Rivers, and this is the place where we change the narrative of life after lockup, after setbacks, after just that second chance. Today's episode is a little bit different because we're not just talking about reentry from the perspective of like somebody just coming home. We're talking about the ones who never left, but still did time in their own way. And we're talking about the mothers, the partners, the ones holding it down while the system takes and it just keeps taking. And so we're sitting down with Summer Hibbert, a single mother of two, college graduate from Georgia State University, paralegal working currently in construction law and criminal defense, and a woman who has lived through some stuff that she's going to share with you and fought her way back. And now raising two young black men in a world that doesn't, let's just be honest, it doesn't always give them the benefit of the doubt. Her youngest father, she shared with me, guys, so I'm not disclosing nothing that nobody would say to me, right? We don't do that. Well, but her youngest father is currently in federal custody. So we're not talking theory here, it's real life. And this conversation is about survival, transformation, and what it really takes to raise kings when the odds are stacked against you. So without any further ado, guys, let's get into the conviction fiction. My audio person that normally works audio, she isn't here. That was like really, really loud. That was really loud. That was my wife. But we're going editing. After, we do our interview, if there's some mistakes or, things that need to come out, sometimes phones drop, right? We'll lose connection and stuff like that. So I do have an editing phase. So let's get into the conviction fiction. Wow, we have really upgraded the sound system around here. I'm telling you, that was like room shaking. It was shaking the room up in here. But my wife is, she always helped me. I want to give a shout out to my wife, man, Capri. I've dedicated, probably all my work should be dedicated to her. God be the glory, man. I got blessed, really, really fortunate here, but sound school ain't her thing. She need to go.
A woman is being tasked, but that's not. She said that's
Right.
she handled all
And,
the things.
and it's crazy. Yeah, yeah. It's funny because you say that when I was saying sound because she's actually for going to school for fanatic for it's speech therapy. But today's guest is Summer. All right, Summer, you've been open about your past struggles with drug abuse, and I want to respect that space. But first, I want to thank you again for joining us on the show.
Definitely, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. The one thing you said, like, I don't ever hide my addiction, my past, my anything. I speak about it at the grocery store. My sons used to be like, "Oh, here she go," but don't know who you're speaking to, and you might be able to help somebody. So,
Yeah, because when you hear addiction, right? Most people think it's like weakness, but
yeah.
what I've learned is that addiction is often survival in disguise.
hmm It very much is. Like, everyone is like, when they meet me, especially even how I got to know you. When he met me, he was like, "You different." Yeah, I'm different. I was raised in East Cobb. I went to an all-white school. I was married to white men the first majority of my life, and black men the second half of my life. So I've been through a lot of different changes and
Yeah,
situations.
so is it a difference?
There
Is
is a
it a
difference.
difference between like the white man and the black man? Because you got two black men that you're raising now. You see how I'm spinning that? Like, well,
It
how
is
was it
different.
different?
It's different because, oh, and I hate to be the bearer of this stereotype, but it's the truth. So my oldest son, London, his dad is white. No, never been in trouble. Graduated from Georgia State too. He's got a job already. He only graduated last summer. He's doing good. Got a car. Everything. No kids. No nothing. No nothing. My 13, 14-year old now, that's by the black man who's incarcerated. He's never been there for him. It's the same stereotypical things that you say when black dads that absent, just no guidance. It's the whole thing, and it's crazy
So,
because
what would you attribute the biggest difference? What would you say was the biggest difference? Was it because of the involvement? Uh,
yes, they involved my ex husband to this day. My first one with my oldest son, we still co-parent. He'll call me in a minute. Do you know what London's doing? We co-parent to the fullest extent. London always had us at every event. We were always there, supporting him together as parents. Dang, what happened between us, but we still support him as parents. Me,
and with the second one, though, the support wasn't there. What would you? Why would you say the support wasn't there?
he felt like he was the breadwinner. He was a very successful dealer. I'm talking about successful on a whole other type of level. We had houses, cars, G wagons, and all the things. You know what I'm saying? All those things.
Yeah,
So he didn't feel like he
but
had
he
to be
wasn't there as a dad, though.
right. So he did, and that's why he felt like he didn't have to be there as a dad because he felt like I'm providing. Y'all got everything y'all want, but that's so lacking because now my 14-year-old is on probation. Um, he's done things that my other son would have never dreamed of doing. But I contribute all that to the lack of his father not being there.
Mm, yeah.
Men,
So
men need men.
yeah, yeah. I know that also had to been a different season of your life. That when you peel back the scenes, especially when you're talking about raising men now. How does that correlate? Because I mean, in your personal journey, in your life, you've seen how it's different. You know what I'm saying? And then it brought me to like, what is it like? Is it uh just different morals, different standards? I mean, what?
Me living out here in East Cobb, and I'm back out here again, ready to get back to the city, but that's a whole other thing. When you're out here and I was the only black person in my entire fifth grade class. There was four classes in fifth grade. And I was the only
Where
black
you
person.
went to school at? I mean, where you went to school? Here in Georgia?
Yes, Mountain View Elementary up here in East Cobb, like off of 75 going north. Our exit is
Yeah.
next
Yeah,
to the
okay.
Central
Okay.
Expressway. Yeah. So
Okay.
I wasn't around a lot of black people. So the first person who asked me out was a white guy. So I was like, okay. It wasn't like something I was like, oh, I just want to. No, it just kind of happened. Then I got married to my oldest son's father, and if you'd have told me I was gonna have a black baby, I'd have been like, you a lie, because I was already married to a white man and had a kid with a white man and all those things. But then I messed around and did the unthinkable, and God forgive me, I was wrong, but it goes deeper than that. But I cheated, and I cheated with a young black man. And from that day going forward, I went home and told my husband, I'm like, we can't be together no more. And he was like, what? Because
I don't know, just blew him all the way away. You telling a white dude this?
yeah, tell my dude we can't do this no more.
Mm.
Because the cultural difference, the struggle that black people have, they can't understand. They will never understand. When I took African American Studies at Georgia State, it gave me a whole. If I would have took that class before I ever dated a white person, I would have never dated a white person. To just understand the struggle of how a black man had to take so much abuse from the slave owners being sexed by the slave owners, their wives being sexed by the slave owners, them being degraded completely in front of their children and their wives. That builds anger. I don't care where you. That's gonna build some anger. And that has been in the black man since the beginning of time, and nobody addresses it. The black man is just always angry. No, he's angry because his lineage has produced something so unfair and so unseen that people that haven't been through it can't understand it. So if a white person hasn't been through that, they can't understand it because they don't know. And the ones whose family might have done those things, they try to say they're not like that. Baby, that's still in your bloodline. Because bloodline is bloodline, period.
Mm.
So,
Now, mhm. No, I mean that's interesting because we saying that, and then with uh, the version that people always assume about reality is not necessarily true.
right.
Um, and you said that was a moment in your life when you said, I can't keep living like this after experiencing, like a relationship with a black man. So you think because you were never around them that you don't know how to deal with them? I'm trying to bring it back because
Because I
right
think,
now we got two young black men that's, coming of aging.
I'm the
I want
older
to know
white.
how you do it. How you do it.
Now I do it based off of the real thing about this is people are people. You can have some shady black people, you can have some shady white people. So I try to teach my sons the biblical principles of how to be a good man, period. It's not whether, because my oldest son, I asked him when I said London, what you identify as? He's like, I'm black, mama. Okay. But technically, because his daddy's white, he's seen as white. But then, the white folks say one drop rule, he's black. So I was like, you know, what do you identify? He said, I identify as a black man. I said, okay, that's cool. I get it. I understand why. He's like, mama, because you also strong. There's nothing you don't do.
Right.
You handle it all. So we don't look at things as color. We look at people as people. If people do us wrong, that person did us wrong no matter what, if their color is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm raising them to be good, godly men. And that
Yeah.
has nothing to do with black and white. My
Yeah.
ex-husband, Jason, the white guy, he's the best. He's a sweetheart. He loves me to death. He's loved me to death to the end of this day. But we just can't
Well,
be together. You know what I'm saying? It's not meant to be. But Justice's father, the one that's in the feds,
mm,
because I had been exposed to so much in life, travel, had a passport, been out of the country, all those things, the things Jason flying me to New York today for shopping, I exposed the black man to that part. He had the hustle part. Now we got the strength of a black couple with knowing how to get something and we can have it. We blew up instantly. I turned his illegal business into a regular business by creating an
oh,
LLC.
okay. Yeah, and that's part of your struggle too. That's part of your journey, right?
Yes, and
Um,
that's a big part of my journey.
yeah. I know because I know when I was locked up, like what was most important for me was to have a relationship with my kids, right? So, I was fortunate enough to be in an institution where they had a program where they would bring your kids up. They would, um, your family would have to bring. They have like no bus line or no, somebody doing it for dollars. They was just making it away, but they provided a space. They provided an environment where you just be one on one with your kid. Now you can be if you was on some crazy, other like sex abuse or predatory. You couldn't be around no kid, not even your own. You
Right,
dangerous, right?
right.
But for those fathers that wanted to have a connection with their children, you could have a family member. Maybe if you have your mother and your dad around, or the auntie, or the uncle would get licensed still. They could bring your kids up there, and you can have one-on-one time with them. No parents, no that. We'll like read books, like
Mm-hmm.
depending on the age group, of course. We had some older kids in there. They sitting there, they wanted to be on their phone. They didn't want to talk to dad, right? He ain't been around anyway. So with the father that's incarcerated, it brings me to my next question because I know for a lot of us, responsibility doesn't always fix stuff, right? You can be responsible, but that don't mean it's gonna fix everything. But sometimes it forces some clarity. All right. So with the relationship with the incarcerated father, um, how is that being nurtured?
It's not, but at first I tried my best. I mean, I even put money on my ex-husband books because that's just his father. I'm not trying, whatever. He got a problem with women. He a womanizer. He too busy worrying about what the woman doing, and not worry about his kids. But it's justice is the one because he has three other kids, four other kids by another woman, and then one other kid by another woman. He knows he engages with them way more. He has resentment towards me, and he takes it out on my son. He wasn't at my son's birth. My son's birthday was last Wednesday, the 20th of May. I called his cousin 2 weeks ago to tell him our godson had got killed. He called me back within an hour. I hadn't heard from him since December when he was out on furlough. Then I called his cousin and tell him, like, don't let him forget it's just his birthday. He didn't call my son on his birthday. My son mama
Mm.
said, Mama, it's just always who? I said, who? He said, me and you. I said, that's right, babe. And it hasn't
Yeah.
because I've been not letting him or not. I've always kept the door open, regardless if I couldn't stand him or not. That's still your kid. I want you to be involved with him because my dad was not in my life.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think what helped me change the narrative, like you said, being able to have that relationship, but somebody got to want it,
yep.
right? Somebody got to want it.
And he didn't. I mean, when Justice wouldn't play basketball, Because Justice is 6 feet tall now. He's 14 years old. He's skinny. And he's really got a basketball figure. But when he went and played football and basketball, it started to turn him away from Justice even more. Justice does
Wow.
motocross. Justice does motocross because Justice lives where? Out here in East Town with all these white folks. And they ride dirt bikes. So he done got into dirt bikes. He doesn't want to play any sports. But he down there right this second tinkering with that bike. Believe that. You understand? He just entered the room now. But he was with that bike. That's what he does. And I don't
Nobody, that's, I mean, where you grow up, that's who you is. I mean, you adapt, and that's like the whole thing. Like when we're talking about these young men, because there's a lot of young men out there. I see them a lot. I talk to them. I'm in the community. Matter of fact, right after this show, we have to go prepare like maybe 70 meals for an event tomorrow, helping some of the unhomed here in Atlanta. So um, it's a definite task to be responsible, but forget that responsibility means nothing if you don't take care of it. So if it was, what would you tell your husband, the one that's incarcerated, the brother? What if it was one thing that you could tell him that you knew he would listen to? Um, what would you say? Like if you knew it was just gonna stick and it was gonna work and it was gonna change his life, what would you tell him?
this time that you're missing out is already a very important time. And I think if you continue to go down this road, you will regret it later because you'll want to know him, especially as he really gets to know him. But even before he left, he wasn't, like I say, the hate that he got from me, and I don't know why, because I should hate him, because the reason I even had a heroin addiction was because of him. Um, so I don't know. I don't even know that he
Yeah,
would listen.
yeah. Now let's talk about something that carries weight every single day, right? And this is one of those things where when you really said something powerful, like you having to do it by yourself, right? You're raising two black men in today's world, and your sons believe it. They know it's only you and them. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's just not parenting, man. That's preparation. So I want to ask you, I mean, what does it mean for you to, raise the black man or, your children? Because they men in today's climate. What are the conversations you have to have with them that maybe other parents they don't have to do?
I keep it 100% real. Like, they know they can ask me anything, and I'm gonna tell them the truth, and I'm gonna tell them about my mistakes, even if it's a mistake. I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, I mean, Mama, no,"
Yeah.
because Mama
But
knows
how
my
do
heart.
you balance that protection with them without making them fearful?
Because I put them in the mix. Both of them have
Hmm.
been in the trenches with me, getting money, getting high, doing everything I had to do to make it. So they look at me
Mhm.
like, "Oh, Mommy went through that to get to this, and if I do that, that's gonna
That's
happen."
a tightrope right there. That's a hell of a tightrope.
Yeah, but
Mm.
everybody knows my kids because I always had them with me. But I didn't want nobody else to give them a picture of what they thought I had going on. I'm getting money in the streets. I may be getting high, but I'm getting money. I'm taking care of y'all. My oldest son went to private school the whole time. He played basketball on AAU teams, all that. That was me. No job.
Was there ever a moment when you was in this life that you wish somebody had said, slow me down just a little bit, pump the brakes for me, slow down, because you got to think past this moment, right? We're thinking, um, there were consequences behind that. So, do you ever wish that was somebody had told you to slow down, or maybe it was somebody that did, but you.
Nobody told me to slow down because I always took care of everybody, and that's been the biggest problem. Is that my ability to take care of everybody? No one has seen that I'm falling short
Yeah,
now
but
on what I need
mm,
for taking care of everybody and making sure that nobody misses a beat. And if anything happens bad, it falls on me. I'm gonna take everybody's hurt, pain, struggle because I felt like I brought most of it, which is probably maybe not the truth, but I felt that way
mm,
as a mother. I felt guilty, so my kids didn't miss a beat, and I made sure they understood right from wrong. And if you take this path, best believe this gonna end up like this. This has no future to it. If you take this path, why my oldest son has graduated from Georgia State and got a job and doing the right thing. Because said this what happens. Because he remembers me.
So you think that do you think the incarceration? I don't mean to cut you off, but you open it up so much that a lot of people don't even have the conversations about, right? So does that so with the situation, do you think it's more of uh the incarcerated dad? What's the brother's name? I can't.
His name is Basil.
Hey,
Basil.
Basil. Okay,
Yeah. He
okay, Basil, brother Basil. So brother Basil, if brother Basil was out, because you just told me you was out in the streets, you're doing this, that, and the other. So with him being home, would that have stopped you? Could he have been that person to say, "Hey, slow down"?
no, because he the one who put me in it. Like, when I got with him, I was good. I was just doing real estate and finishing my education in Georgia State. When I got with him, oh my, it's so bad. I had to just give you this little tidbit though, but he was married, and I was just the other woman, and then I couldn't get a job out of school, and he was like, "Just give me some money to help me take care, to invest in my business, and you'll be all right." I gave him $100,000. And needless to say, he left his wife. He ended up being with me, and we went to the moon. I learned the business. I learned how to do everything. Then when I started becoming too knowledgeable and too in control, that's when he gave me pain pills because I had surgery, and he kept feeding me the pain pills. I didn't even know what an opiate was. I didn't even know what withdrawal was. Even though we dealt in that life, I never saw the other. I never saw the other side of it. So when he decided that he didn't want to be with me anymore, I basically kept
So
hustling.
he up and left. He up and left.
He took all the money.
Up and
I
left
woke up one morning and
after
he took all.
100K.
Yeah, I died. Yes, and I was like, I even asked, "Can I just get my 100K back?" You know what I'm saying? But he left me in just as high to dry. Like, so
Yeah. So I mean, it might not even been incarceration that has maybe it slowed him down. Maybe the incarceration slowed him down. I don't know because from personal experience, I know that we sometimes have to go through certain things in order to get into a better space. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about mentally. I'm talking about spiritually, emotionally, because you're dealing with that a lot. I mean, that situation, just your lifestyle impacted your household. It wasn't nothing else. It wasn't, your lifestyle. And it, emotionally, I don't know how that affects those kids because you want to tell them. I'll be scared to tell my kids. I'll be like, I don't want to put that fear in them. Like this could happen, this could happen. They be like, oh, I ain't gonna try nothing. Dad said, like, if it's so many mind traps. I mean, so many traps. Like it's like a minefield, right? So many traps out there, and if you try to tell them all of them, then they ain't gonna want to go out there.
his dad is in the feds. His dad's dad was in the feds. His dad was in the feds.
Man, Junior got like what's that like?
A lineage.
These 98, 92% chance of stormy weather ahead. Oh,
So I have been.
oh man, that's a tough one there, and that's what we were talking about before. Like we were talking about how we don't want to put fear in them, but we want to let them know what's going on, what's ahead, what it looks like for them. I mean, for real, if my I like incarceration and that mindset because it is a disease, right? It is recognized antisocial personality disorder. It is a thing. It's also you have the people that they're just antisocial. They don't follow any rules. They don't believe in laws, stuff like that. There's no moral fortitude to say I'm going to comply. Right. So, but you have these children. So tell me about it. How do you have that conversation with the guy that's like, hey, you got a 92% chance that you're gonna go to prison?
I
What do
tell
you tell that kid?
and my mom gets on me about that
You
because I'm
talk
like,
about beating the odds.
you keep doing that, you're gonna end up like your daddy. I tell them that all the time. You keep doing that, you're gonna end up like your daddy. And I'm like,
Yeah, and
okay.
that's what's really bad. Like you gonna end up like the granddaddy,
Mm-hmm.
everybody. How do how do those conversations go? Are you kind of let him direct it, or
I direct it. I direct it every time he
balance?
does something that could put him on a path to the wrong way. And I tell,
Yeah.
and I give him the. I'm like, And then keep it so real. Like, do you realize if you're gonna do something and you just
Mhm.
set and determined to do something wrong, be
Mhm.
smart about it. Think about it from A to Z. Don't
Mhm.
just do something and just do it. You're
Do
gonna
you
do it.
think it's? Don't get me wrong. Has he? And this is what this whole show is about, right? We're changing the narrative because we're going to now talk about like how does that help him? Like what are the processes he's going through, right? What does absence do to him, right? Without creating that resentment, like hating your father or hating circumstances. How do you process? How do you help that child process?
Mommy
I
got you.
mean, because yeah, it's the conversations that all of our listeners they tune in for,
Yeah.
and it's great because it's needed, man, desperately, bro. Like when I got onto this show today, I was, I didn't know what to expect. Like with any show, I prepare myself or whatnot, but it's often heavy because you never know this conversation that you're having with this person may change someone's life.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I'm at. I don't get no money. We were talking about our budget. That's my wife. She's a sound engineer. I don't pay nobody. You better ask her. Do I pay you? Okay. Okay. So,
She said,
but I've seen both sides of it. I've seen both sides of it, and when it comes to being able to process absent, um, a lot of our young men can't do that. They haven't been taught emotionally how to deal with absence. They know it's bad, right? Because they know that when someone asks where their daddy is, daddy not there, or if they have to talk to someone about, I don't know, some that's kind of important for every male, sex, so you can't be out there, uh, you know,
yeah, doing the
just
most.
conversation. You know what I mean? With
My
just
oldest
conversation.
son.
So how does he process all that?
My oldest son is a big help. Like
Yeah.
he tunes in and be like, dude, you can't do that. Like really is there for his little brother. That's where the
Okay.
man little part comes in. This summer, I'm trying my best to put him in more situations dealing with black men. I have a
Mhm.
friend who everybody can't stand, but they can't stand him because he's prior military, and he's a black man, and he used to be a gangbanger and all these other things. But he's changed so much, and he don't has no nonsense, no tolerance. But at the same time, my justice needs that because I'm still a mommy, and we get a little weak sometimes. We give
Yeah.
in sometimes, but the black man definitely needs to understand his role. Like, and people laugh at me all the time when I say we got so many black gay men in Atlanta because you got all these black strong women raising these men, and
Yeah.
all they see is a woman handling all the things that a man should handle, plus the things that a woman should handle, so they lose sight of what their role should be in life as a man. So I talk about that a lot.
But I'm going to stop you right there. Right, we're going to have a conversation. Right, it's for the man. I think for the majority of people I know, the men, it's tough out here too. You know what I mean? It's tough out here too. I mean, we're not talking about just the gay community, but let's talk about the LBGTQ community, which they are vitally a part of society now. Which is I don't know, I got gay friends.
I do too.
People that you, yeah, but it's tough being a man and knowing you like almost like I don't know cotton candy or what's good? Gold out here?
Right.
No, for real. So yeah. So what kind of support do families need? Do families like yours need that families like, just that actually need to process?
We need some. We need like big brothers, big
Yeah.
sisters. That's really geared towards African Americans and the men and African American men running it to help African American men or men period
Yeah.
as a whole. But we identify with ourselves better. You know, when you can see yourself in the person that's telling you, "Hey,
Mhm.
this is the path you should go down." Because I went down that path, you don't want to go down this other path. It just needs to be more support out there, some more
Yeah.
support, and get them off of social media. That I have, my oldest son, I was screen time strict, no extra. Da, 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 da. He's does not follow that like they do now. Everything I had to convince myself. The influencer knows nothing. I am your mother. I am the primary source. That is a secondary source. Then that internet is the biggest problem.
Mm.
If we could eliminate
Yeah.
that, and put more, you can't even put more positive on it because it's got too much it's just too much open. It just needs to be eliminated as a whole. Because when we allow
Yeah.
the internet to run our kids, we don't know who we're dealing with. On a constant basis, I tell my son, do you know if you kill me, I will not wake up tomorrow? So don't let your friend convince you that I done got
Serious.
on your nerves and you gonna kill me for the insurance money so you can get a new e-bike
Yeah.
and I won't wake up tomorrow. Do you understand that? Like I talk
Yes.
that real to my kids. Yeah.
It's easy to get stuck in that web, you know. And especially going through what you've been through. I'm more interested in what you become now because you're educated, you're raising your sons, you're working in a professional field. That's not luck. That's not luck. That's intention. So I want to ask, like, what did it take mentally for you to rebuild everything after all that you've been through?
4 years ago on Father's Day, I looked at my mama and I said, I'm tired of doing heroin. I'm tired of this life. I'm educated. I got a college degree, bachelor's and a master's degree. What am I doing? So I'm finna get everything situated and y'all need to leave me alone for at least 45 days because I'm gonna have to go through it. And I did. It was
Mm.
hell. The withdrawal, the detox, the whole thing. But in my mind, I had made up I wanted to utilize the other side of me now and get out of this toxic side of me.
Yeah.
So,
And you push past all of that,
but I
like the
did, and
doubt.
I'm still pushing past it today. I was literally crying when you text me that you sent me the email about pushing through. Like it's so like working a job and taking care of my kids and just barely having enough. It's like so much of a difference from where when I was in the streets and we had everything and everything was everything.
Yeah,
But
but that's freedom, though. I mean, what does freedom mean? Does it mean having everything or not worrying about having to watch your back?
but freedom is all of that, and freedom is also where your mind's at. I wasn't free in the mind. I had too much going on, tangled up in the mind that I hadn't addressed. So the drugs and that lifestyle just succumbed me because I could take the drug and kill it. But then when I decided to get right where I am today, it's a fight every day. Every
Hmm.
day. Every day to stay clean. Every day not to fall, slip and slide back into that. To keep the friends that have made such close and personal relationships with at a distance, at a bay, coming around sometimes as opposed to seeing them every day. Um, but I want to show my kids that you can do anything you set your mind to. The only reason
Yeah,
you don't have it is because you don't do it. Because there's no reason why you can't have anything you want unless you just
yeah.
put the effort to do it.
Because everything you've been through, it didn't just happen. It built something, right? It led to that freedom where you are now. So to keep it all the way. I know you are also preparing to you make sure that your sons, have the tools necessary, the resources available for them to process grief, to process absence, to lead, to be faithful. Um, so what do you want them to say about you when they're grown, though? Because we know what you want for them. What would they say? What would you want them to say?
My oldest son has said it. His college entry paper was my mother, the heroin addict. Um, but the things he outlined in that paper were so real because he was like, my mother has taught me how to stand on my own 2 feet. Everything we've been through, I know how to change a tire. I know how to jump a battery off. I know how to, just the simple things that men don't know in life nowadays. He's like, all those come to the help of my mother who was a heroin addict. But her strength showed me that you can do anything all the way to the point of her getting clean. So he talks about it all the time. I'm the strongest thing in the world. I'm like, I'm glad you think that. But that's what they say. My mama can handle it. My mom
Yeah.
got me. My mama's there. She know they know they can call me. I'm the mom If y'all are out and y'all get in trouble at 3 o'clock in the morning, you call me. I'm coming. I'm not gonna cuss and fuss at y'all. I'm coming to get y'all. Whatever the problem is, we gonna handle it. And then tomorrow, once I feed y'all and wake y'all up, I may beat y'all off or whatever you did. But I'm coming to get you. So I always say
Right.
with my kids, I got their back. Period. It's just what it is.
So, but are there other? I know that you gotta have some ways you want to use your story to help other women. I know you're involved actively in the community.
I do, but I don't know. People can't only see past my, I guess my East Cobb is what I call it. They get so jealous of me. And I'm like, dude, I'm not even trying to be jealous about. I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to give you some life experiences. Because it's funny. I wanted to start a podcast that said something like, you want to know the real from the real or the actual real experiences? I'm not giving you theory. I'm giving you life experiences of why this happens and what you need to do and why you should do it. Not because I'm think I'm better than somebody. No, I
Right,
went
right.
through so much. Like from the birth all the way up to the bad husband. You know what I mean? Like and keeping it so 100. My first husband, the white guy, couldn't find out he was gay. So I have been
Oh,
through it all. So it's just
that man, that's hard right there. I mean,
that's why I value
wow.
relationships that I
But
do.
but then when I'm thinking about in the conversation, he was the actual guy that kind of
Man,
stood up. Yeah, that that kind of was around and showed support. Wow. That's honesty.
right.
And those conversations like this, man, they just don't inform people or tell them things. It transforms how they think for
Mm-hmm.
real because you never know. We get wrapped up in all this stuff and we never know someone's story. So with all that being said, I want to know what's next for you. What's next for Summer?
Summer's in the process of buying more houses again. I've always done real estate. Real estate is my passion, and I'm doing some investing this time around too, with my money and some internet businesses. I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I'm only working to get my stability back. I had to go back to work to get my. You have to get up at a certain time. You got to go to bed at a certain time because when you live that lifestyle, you already know it's all night, every day, whatever day, every day the same. So I had to go back to work in order to get my stability back and understand what I have to have discipline in this lifestyle to make it. So summer is gonna
Yeah.
have a couple of more houses, and mostly the internet business. And pouring a lot into my youngest son, being there for him, because the fact that he's already on probation, um,
Yeah.
and I'm like, dude, I was so taken aback.
Already.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I've given you every tool not to be in this situation. What are we doing? Stealing? But then that's company that you keep. Then we had to go into that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a constant, everyday battle on what's right now. Summer's biggest focus on to walk according to God's word. Cause I'm a God fearing woman. Because God truly brought me out of that, not dead. Because I mean, friends I had died through that heroin stuff. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
be the best mom I can be, and then I know everything else will be successful because I'm an entrepreneur.
Awesome. Awesome.
Definitely. Hmm.
All right. So, all right. So, if you out there and you're believing in what we're building, you believe, or you want us to continue having these conversations like this in spaces that are sometimes often hidden, hidden from society altogether, man, hidden from the pain. Hidden from healing because the reality of reentry and staying focused and second chances, man, you just need to tap in, man. Visit the website, come listen to us, come be a part of the show. Hopefully, something that we share today will help you. We're not just telling stories, guys. We're changing the entire narrative. So, Summer, I want you to hang out with me right quick. How can people follow you? Are you like the social media type real estate person? You don't do social media real estate?
You know I don't, and it's funny because I could see that lifestyle before. We lived in the gray. You don't put your business out there
Yeah,
for
you
nobody.
gotta go to Instagram and reopen that account back up.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna
What
go to
the
Instagram.
good part though, just yeah.
Yeah.
All right.